afternoon, everyone. So today we are talking about the Kiev 6C. This is one of my absolute favorite cameras. If nothing uncertain in the world happens, this is probably going to be a camera that they bury me with, because this camera is just my favorite so far. I've used it for years. And it works flawlessly every time. This is probably the most reliable camera, besides the 1DX2 that I'm filming with, most reliable film camera that I've ever used. So this camera needs no batteries. There's no batteries anywhere except for the meter. It's 100% mechanical. It works absolutely flawlessly all the time that I've used it. There's no hiccups, there's never been any issues. I just look at the camera, focus, take the shutter button, and I get my picture. I've never had any problems with it, and it's accompanied me on any important photo shoots. So the Kiev 6C is different from the 60 in terms where you can shoot 220 film with this camera, not only 120 film. The shutter button is on the left side instead of the right side. You cannot shoot double exposures with it. And the one thing that is missing from it is a hot shoe or a cold shoe. While it has the flash sync connector, you can't mount a flash to the camera. So whenever I've been using this camera, I had to hold my flash, and once I got shocked from it when I was using flash bulbs. So I designed a little connector here. It's 3D printed, and this allows me to mount my flash straight onto the meter. It's double taped here, so I can remove it if I want. I also have this part 3D printed in metal, so I have a metal piece that once this one wears out, I'll throw on here and use. But it has been a lifesaver. I can take photos with flash, or even with flash cubes, without any issues. You just have to make sure that the flash is higher than the highest part here, or else you'll see a shadow. But I've been using flash, I've had no issues with it, super convenient, and I just absolutely love this camera. And I've got tons of Pentagon 6 lenses that I bought for this camera, but I don't utilize all of them. And the reason being is that this is a Soviet camera, and the Soviet glass that came with it wasn't meant to be the sharpest of the time. It was great, and it has its own character. Like, the photos that I take with the Soviet lenses give me much more of a feel from the pictures I get than my super sharp lenses. So if you are considering buying this camera, there are two things I want you to be aware of. Number one is that it most likely will need a CLA, so make sure you have someone who has a good sample, a working sample. You don't want to buy it and be stuck with a piece of junk, because they will need to be lubricated from time to time and cleaned, because, well, it's fully mechanical, the lubricants wear out. This camera I actually bought from someone who had it, who abused it, who didn't take care of it. Almost none of the shutter speeds worked. The frame spacing was an issue. I sent this off to Airx in Ukraine, had it fully serviced, CLA done, had some other stuff done to it to improve it, and it's been working flawlessly. I've probably put over 100 rolls of 120 film in here, and it doesn't show any signs of stopping. And the second thing that we need to keep in mind when using this camera is that it is fairly, not finicky per se, but there is a way to use it right. Once you load the film, you always have to cock the shutter and wind the shutter before you can change your shutter speed, because this camera will break and you'll be stuck with a heavy paperweight. So you just have to get into the habit of took picture, wind, and then after that you can change the shutter speed, you can do whatever. But if you're not used to it, you can accidentally break your camera. In all my years of using it, I haven't, because it's automatic. No matter if it's my Leicas that I'm using or my Kievs or my Zorkis, it's always take picture, wind. That's just what I got used to so far. So I would definitely recommend this camera if you're looking for an affordable 6x6 medium format camera. This is one that you definitely want to pick up if you're looking for like a budget one. They're usually around 200 or 300 bucks with the lens. Now that probably doesn't sound affordable, but as long as it works, you can just keep shooting and shooting and shooting and it goes. You don't need any batteries, you don't need anything. Sometimes you can get the meter included with it, or you can get the folding waist level finder. I've got both. My meter isn't accurate. It's off about 2 stops, and I always have a light meter with me anyways, so it doesn't matter to me, but that's just a few of the options that they offer. But this definitely would be a great camera as a first camera. Another upside to this camera is that the lenses are cheap. You can get a lens like this Vega 12B for 80, 100 bucks on eBay, and I know you're going, wow, 80 bucks is a lot. If you have a Hasselblad, you can't get a lens for at least 600 bucks. Or a Leica lens, or a Pentax lens for the medium format costs quite a bit. So a lens like this is super cheap. Even Bronica lenses are fairly expensive. So this would be a great first camera, assuming you just wind after you shoot. Well, hope this helps some of you guys out checking out this camera for the first time. It is my absolute favorite camera, and unless it breaks or I need cash really bad, this camera is probably going to stick with me for a long time. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next videos.